In January 2017, while serving as vice president, Joe Biden made a speech in which he endorsed the idea of a world free of nuclear weapons. Last year, he took office with a pledge to reduce America's reliance on nuclear weapons, perhaps by promising that the United States would never use nuclear weapons as the first line of defense in a conflict, or perhaps by scaling back, if not eliminating, the country's intercontinental ballistic missile arsenal. Biden's first year has served as a sobering wake-up call. The possibility of Russian invasion in Eastern Europe has served as a reminder to American allies of the potential role that nuclear weapons from the U.S. could play in their collective defense. The significant increase in Chinese nuclear capability means that the United States will soon face a nuclear rival in the Pacific. North Korea is continuing to build up its weapons. Some of the United States' partner in Europe and Asia have advocated against a no first-use guarantee or reductions in the United States nuclear arsenal. Welcome to Warzone. If you don't want to miss out on any new political news, conflicts, battles, or anything else related to politics, then subscribe to our channel and hit the bell button so that you will always be notified. More than a half-dozen urgent meetings with top Chinese officials were held over 3 months by senior Biden administration officials, during which the Americans presented intelligence showing Russia's troop buildup around Ukraine and pleaded with the Chinese government not to intervene in the country's internal affairs, according to United States officials. China's officials, including the foreign minister and the ambassador to the United States, rebuffed the Americans on each occasion, stating that they did not believe an invasion was in the works. According to the officials, after one diplomatic exchange in December, the United States received intelligence indicating that Beijing had shared the information with Moscow, informing the Russians that the United States was attempting to sow discord and that China would not attempt to obstruct Russian plans and actions, according to the officials. It was previously unknown that the Biden administration attempted to persuade a superpower it views as a growing adversary to stop the invasion of Ukraine through intelligence and diplomacy. It also revealed that China, led by President Xi Jinping, remained staunchly on the side of Russia even as evidence of Moscow's plans for a military offensive grew over the winter months. It is based on interviews with senior administration officials who were present during the conversations and spoke on the condition of anonymity because of the delicate nature of the diplomacy involved. China has actively pushed the political resolution process of the Ukraine issue for quite some time, said Liu Pengyu, a spokesman for the Chinese embassy in Washington, in response to an earlier request for comment received half a day after this item was published online. China is Russia's most powerful partner, and the two countries have been working together to expand their ties for many years in the diplomatic, economic, and military spheres as well as other areas. Mr. Xi and Russian President Vladimir Putin, two autocratic leaders who share certain views on global dominance, had previously met 37 times as national leaders before this year. President Xi Jinping, according to some U.S. officials, is the only world leader who has the ability to make Russian President Vladimir Putin reconsider his decision to invade Ukraine. Mr. Putin launched a full-scale invasion of Ukraine on Thursday morning after recognizing two separatist enclaves in the country's eastern region as independent states, despite international efforts to prevent it. According to a readout of the call issued by the Chinese state news media, Mr. Putin informed Mr. Xi that the United States and NATO had neglected Russia's legitimate security concerns and had reneged on their obligations during a phone discussion on Friday. In his speech, Mr. Xi reaffirmed China's public position that it was critical to respect legitimate security concerns as well as the sovereignty and territorial integrity of other nations. Vladimir Putin informed President Xi that Russia was willing to negotiate with Ukraine, and President Xi stated that China backed such a step. According to some American officials, the connections between China and Russia look to be stronger than they have been since the end of the Cold War. Even as Mr. Putin is carrying out the invasion of Ukraine, whose sovereignty China has acknowledged for decades, the two are presenting themselves as an ideological counterforce to the United States and its European and Asian allies. When it comes to the alignment between China and Russia, American and European officials are growing increasingly concerned. The Ukraine crisis comes exactly 50 years to the week after President Richard M. Nixon made a historic trip to China to restart diplomatic relations and join forces in the counterbalance of the Soviet Union. Following that, the United States-China relationship strengthened for 40 years, especially as lucrative commercial links emerged, but subsequently deteriorated as a result of mutual distrust, increased strategic competition, and diametrically opposed notions about power and governance. Americans claim that during recent private discussions on Ukraine, they heard language from their Chinese colleagues that was consistent with the tougher positions the Chinese has been taking in public, indicating that the more hostile attitude had been entrenched, according to American reports. A Chinese Foreign Ministry spokeswoman, Hua Chunying, said at a news conference in Beijing on Wednesday that the United States was the source of the current tension surrounding Ukraine, which came after President Vladimir Putin ordered troops into eastern Ukraine, but before a full invasion took place. With regard to the Ukraine crisis, she stated that the United States has recently been sending weaponry to the country, heightening tensions, causing panic, and even raising the potential of war. If someone continues to throw oil on the flames while criticizing others of not doing everything in their power to put out the fire, this type of behavior is clearly irresponsible and immoral, the statement reads. Did the United States ever consider the consequences of pushing a large country to the brink of collapse? She continued. When the United States drove 5 waves of NATO expansion eastward all the way to Russia's doorstep and deployed advanced offensive strategic weapons in violation of its assurances to Russia, did it ever consider the consequences of pushing a large country to the brink of collapse? In the face of pressure from foreign journalists, she has refused to refer to Russia's offensive as an invasion. Ms. Hua's vehement anti-American sentiments came at a time when Russia was about to launch an attack on its neighbor, which surprised several current and former United States officials as well as China analysts in the United States. However, the verbal bombs are a reiteration of significant points in the 5,000-word joint statement that China and Russia delivered on February 4th following their meeting at the Winter Olympic Games opening ceremony in Beijing. Both countries declared their relationship to have no bounds and that they intended to stand together against democratic nations led by the United States of America. In the wording, China also expressly agreed with Russia in opposition to the expansion of the North Atlantic Treaty Organization's membership. Wang Yi, China's foreign minister, delivered a video speech at the Munich Security Conference on Saturday in which he lambasted the NATO alliance. European officials, for their part, have accused China of collaborating with Russia to undermine what they and the United States believe to be a rules-based international order. China's foreign policy concept of respecting and safeguarding Ukraine's sovereignty was stated by Mr. Wang, but no other Chinese officials have referenced Ukraine in those terms since Russia's full invasion began in early March, according to the Associated Press. The importance of nuclear weapons is so great because the consequences of their use would be so profound. The dilemmas surrounding nuclear strategy are so sharp because U.S. strategy requires making credible threats to deliver, and perhaps suffer, incredible destruction. Old questions of deterrence, warfighting, and stability are taking on new and complex forms. To successfully handle the challenges of the new nuclear age, America will need all the intellectual firepower it can get. Alright everyone, this brings us to the end of our video. If you like this video, please give it a thumbs up, subscribe to our channel, and turn on notifications so you don't miss any of our upcoming videos. Until then, take care and we will be back with another video.